I have been dating my boyfriend Miles for just over a year. Miles is an architect, passionate about his work, constantly sketching and dedicating time to his craft. Overall, our relationship has been great. I genuinely thought he was the one. Recently, though, something happened. A few months ago, Miles introduced me to Ava at a mutual friend's birthday party. I'd heard about her before, and now I got to meet her. She was funny and surprisingly stylish. As a fashion buyer, we ended up chatting about trends and what's in right now. I never felt weird about her, even though she and Miles have been friends for years. I was sort of glad she was in his life. She seemed like a good influence compared to some of his other friends. But lately, Miles has been more secretive with his phone, always tilting it away from me. I didn't say anything at first because I didn't want to be that girlfriend. Last week, I was at his place when his mom showed up, saying her car battery had died, and she needed help jump-starting it. Miles rushed out, saying it wouldn't take long. He left his phone behind on the coffee table, screen down. I kept myself busy scrolling through TikTok, but his phone started buzzing repeatedly. I'm not insecure, so I wouldn't snoop through my boyfriend's phone, but I couldn't shake my anxiety. After hesitating, I picked up his phone. All I saw were just work messages, making me feel stupid for snooping. But then I checked everything, including the gallery. What I saw made my heart drop. Explicit photos of Ava. Some looked professional, while others seemed spontaneous, but they were all intimacy. I felt like throwing up. When Miles returned, I couldn't hold back. "Why do you have photos of Ava naked on your phone?" His reaction was strange. He didn't freak out or deny it. Instead, he just stared, then said, "It's not what you think." He insisted, "It's nothing, and you're overreacting," never addressing my concerns. Eventually, he got defensive, making me feel wrong for invading his privacy. I just decided there and then that I should leave. He's been texting nonstop, but I'm too angry to respond. I can't stop thinking about those photos and can't eat without feeling sick. Why AVA? Why was she sending him that stuff? Why was he even saving them? He can't think I'm that dumb not to find out. Is this salvageable? What am I supposed to do now? Now for a few comments. One commenter said, "It's not what you think," is only a valid response if it is immediately followed by the surprisingly innocent, truthful explanation that makes total sense once revealed. Failing that, one must assume it is what you think. You found his wank bank, and Ava is the star. Another commenter added, "If it's not what you think, then he needs to immediately follow up with what it is." He didn't, because it is exactly what OP thinks. But someone else suggested, "Well, it all looks clear to me. He's interested in her. Nothing you can do about it. Save yourself some trouble and delete him from your life." Then OP replied, "I don't know if I could live with myself not knowing everything that happened between them." Another commenter advised, "Don't worry, you definitely can. Remember wise words from Tame Impala. The less I know, the better." A different commenter asked, "Do you want to salvage it? And if so, why? I could never be with someone I can't trust." You'll always wonder every time he picks up his phone and texts, comes home a little late, grows a little quiet. Trust doesn't come back no matter what people say. What happens is you lower your standards. You go numb. Part of you dies as you bury your head. But the guy who you can trust and who will love you and be loyal is out there, and you may miss him by staying with a cheater. OP responded, "As corny as it sounds, it felt different this time. I've dated my share of men before, and I assure you, this isn't my fear of being single forever speaking. It's more like I genuinely believed he was perfect. That's what I thought, at least. We have similar interests, and both of us were clingy. That's why this doesn't make sense. When would he even have the time to pull all of this?" Now for the update, 2 days later. First of all, thank you to everyone who reached out to me privately or responded to my original post. Whether you were understanding or trying to give me a reality check, I genuinely appreciate all of it. I know many of you advised against reaching out to him, but I decided to do it anyway. I texted him. There were tons of unanswered messages, and it wasn't too long before he responded. I invited him to a cafe we used to get bagels from every Saturday morning to make him feel nostalgic and sad about throwing away our sweet tradition, and partly because I felt a public space would force us to keep things civil. He tried hugging me when he came, but I just wanted to get straight to the point. The explanation he gave me was honestly confusing. Apparently, he and Ava had dated a few years back, and he thought I'd make him drop her as a friend if I found out. He went on to say that he had deleted her nudes, but because of some storage issue, they were still on his iPad, and when his phone synced with the iPad, the photos got downloaded onto his phone. This felt like a huge reach, but I decided to play along with it until the next day, when I decided to start my own investigation. I found Ava on Instagram through Miles's following list, messaged her, and asked her to get the story straight. After about 30 minutes, Ava responded with, "We never dated." Shortly after getting Ava's message, I called her and gave her all the facts. She was absolutely petrified. She said he could not possibly have her nudes. I tried to describe the photos from what I remembered, but she reassured me that not only did she not take pictures like that, there was also no possibility they existed in the first place. I was cautious, but her reaction was convincing. At that point, I felt like I was going insane. I said goodbye to Ava because this was too much for both of us. I went straight to his house. When he let me in, I demanded answers and told him to stop bullshitting me. That's when he broke down and admitted the truth. He made AI-generated photos with her face. He mumbled something about it being a mistake, but I stopped listening. I just needed to leave. Avoiding his pathetic attempts to touch or comfort me, I left his place, took an Uber home, and spent the rest of the night crying. He's been blocked everywhere. He won't be reaching me again. After I informed Ava about the vile things he had done, she started tearing up. She cried. I cried. It was a mess. I kept apologizing to her. It felt like I had some part in this horrible situation. The rest will stay private, but I'll be supporting Ava with whatever she decides to do with this information. I'm just glad it's over. My friend will be staying over for a few days to help me get through it all. Thank you to everyone who shared kind words and cared. I'm still figuring things out, but I'll be okay. Now for a few important comments. One commenter said, "Oh my god, he's a weirdo. How dehumanizing and gross. Like I cannot even imagine how he thought this was okay. Sounds like he had some weird obsession with her." Also, the fact that he said that he wasn't cheating. Like, what do you call making intimacy AI photos to jerk off to of one of his friends called? He should be so embarrassed with himself. I hope he stays the hell away from the both of you, because this person is not mentally okay and clearly unstable. I had a feeling it was something darker on his end because of how you described her being so nice to you. I feel so sad for you and for Ava. I'm glad you have each other. You are much better off without this freak. Be grateful you saw him for the person that he is so early on and not years down the line. I wish you two girls the best. Whatever you girls decide to do with this information, I hope it works out and people know what kind of fricked up person he is. Then another commenter, Breezy Wanderer, said, "I hate that this is what this world is coming to. Words can't even describe how much of a creep this guy is, and good on you for blocking him and getting him out of your life. This is a violation of trust and privacy of epic proportions, and I can only imagine what Ava is going through right now." Next, C. Gannett added, "OP, I know reaching out to Ava wasn't meant to help her, but you did. Good on you. I can't believe your ex did this. You deserve so much better." Another commenter, She Spready Tied Up, remarked, "Well, that was quite a plot twist I didn't expect. I guess he was right when he said it's not what you think." Finally, Iwanovski commented, "I was going to write the same. At least that line, which stood out as a throwaway statement, was actually 100% factual. Am I the idiot for finally choosing my safety over my husband's excuses and his family's toxic blame game? I feel trapped in my marriage of 4 years, which has been nothing but hell. It started with the cliche 'I'm pregnant' moment. We fight daily, and our physical relationship is almost non-existent. My husband isn't cheating. He's just indifferent and uninterested. He has forgotten all our anniversaries and is a mediocre father at best. Our marriage counseling sessions have turned into discussions about his ADHD, avoiding any real talk about our relationship. Divorce seems too expensive, and he won't agree to it, claiming he still loves me. Our house is in both our names, and I feel like I'm stuck taking care of a grown child forever. I don't hate him, I just want nothing to do with him anymore. There's no attraction, and I don't even wear a ring." Now for some comments. One commenter said, "Not forcing a divorce will be more expensive." Another commented, "Your poor kids." I replied, "I don't let it affect them. I plan family outings and give them 200% mommy time." The commenter responded, "You're lying to yourself if you think they aren't affected. Jesus, kids know when their parents are unhappy or fighting." I replied, "They're 4 and 2. They just know that mommy and daddy love them. I hope at least." Finding a divorce attorney was easier than finding a counselor. I laid out my cards and realized I've wasted 10 years of my life. I turned 25 last Friday. 4 years of marriage, 10 years of dating. We tried the first counselor he found on Google, but it was a disaster. My birthday was a bust, and I ended up leaving before they sang the birthday song. Today, I called 10 plus places for a counselor, but it was futile. Then I called one divorce attorney, and they booked me for a consultation after 30 minutes of questions. I haven't had intimacy that lasted more than a minute in 6 months. I'm smart, beautiful, and young. I gave this man 2 children. I'm taking back my life now. Single mom and grad school life will be hard for the year I have left, but I'd rather be alone than with him. I'm done being married to a forgetful, aggressive, lazy, overgrown child. I resent him with every fiber of my being. Thanks for reading my rant. It's time to stew quietly while hating my life for now. Now for a few comments. A commenter shared, "My 93-year-old grandmother just left her husband of almost 50 years. She feels like she wasted her life, but she's really happy right now. Don't waste your one life." Update. He hit me. This has been a day, and not a good one. I asked him to fill out paperwork for a family counselor, and he wouldn't. He confronted me about the divorce attorney, and I told the truth. He accused me of cheating, which I'm not. After an argument, he slept in the kids' room. This morning, he made a comment about my laziness while I was cleaning. Things escalated, and he broke my phone across my face. I ended up being punched in the face and ribs. Our kid saw this. He ran off, threatening to harm himself. I called his psychiatrist and his father. I'm just numb. My body and face hurt, and my family has been dragged into my messed up marriage. My phone is broken. He took his PS5, but no clothes when he left. Now for some comments. A commenter expressed concern. "Oh my God, I hope you are okay. Did you call the police? What did his dad say?" I replied, "I did. His father blamed me for being stupid and putting him under too much stress." Another commenter said, "And that's why he's never going to change. He's never learned to do better and is being reinforced. It's not his fault. Make sure this is on the record and don't let him back in the house. Can you get a restraining order or have a male relative stay with you?" I replied, "His father isn't much different. His mother left with a protection order to get away from him." I'm not at all shocked by his response. Am I the idiot for calling CPS on my wife's sister after noticing her daughter's disturbing behavior? Would I be the jerk if I called CPS on my wife's sister for her child? I'm keeping this anonymous for obvious reasons. My wife and I are both in our late 20s, married for 5 years. We are happily married and have no children yet due to some fertility issues we are dealing with. My wife's sister is 20 years old and has a 3-year-old daughter with her on-again, off-again boyfriend. The guy seems like a piece of work, but what do I know? My wife really loves her sister and the kid, who we babysit probably 1 to 3 days a week, every week. My wife was very happy to babysit because she loves kids. I was happy to do what made her happy. This has been going on for about 6 months. In this time, I've become very concerned. The 3-year-old, while a very sweet kid, displays some concerning behavior. First of all, she is obsessively clingy towards my wife and very fearful towards me. The kid will literally be on my wife's hip for 4 to 6 hours a day and cry when she is let down. She avoids eye contact with me or essentially any male stranger. She also wets the bed every night and sometimes 2 or 3 times. Sometimes she will lay in it all night and sometimes she will wake my wife up. She also has nightmares and will often come to sleep with my wife, but be timid when she sees I am also there. Most of the time, she ends up sleeping by my wife's feet. She has issues about using the restroom too, even though she is potty trained. She will wait hours and hours before going, and this results in a lot of infections that she is very often treated for. She also is picky surrounding food and what she will eat, and often says her throat hurts. This is even with foods she previously liked and has eaten before. She also is destructive to her toys. She will draw all over the faces of her dolls and cut their hair off. When my wife asks her why, she just cries. She only has one single stuffed cat that she keeps safe. The other toys are destroyed. The worst and most telling part to me is when her mother comes to pick her up, wife's sister. She will screech and cry and kick and hit and shriek and fight them. They chalk it up to just her love towards my wife and reluctance to leave, but it seems more than that to me. I almost never see her dad, but I know in the last year he has moved back in with them. I do not know what is going on for sure. I am sure you see what I'm thinking. When I suggested it to my wife, she was extremely upset and offended that I would accuse her sister of that, or concealing that. She refused to even consider it, but I could tell she was thinking about it. I am not accusing her sister of perpetuating it or concealing it, but rather she might not even know. Anyways, it is clear that my wife isn't going to do anything about it though, and I truly don't know what to do, other than call CPS and explain the situation. Would I be the jerk if I did? Now for a few important comments. One commenter suggested, "Stop, pick up the phone and call CPS now." They noted the power of denial and the importance of getting the niece evaluated to ensure she receives the care she needs. The original poster responded, "I'm on hold with them now. To be honest, all I needed was one person to tell me to call. I know my wife is going to be shocked and likely angry, but it is what it is." Another commenter advised having a talk with the wife to make it clear that they are not accusing her sister of any kind of abuse or neglect, but emphasizing the need to protect and evaluate the child. One more commenter mentioned, "Honestly, she should be accused," saying she didn't know with all those indications is neglect at best and at worst. A former special ed teacher commented, "This absolutely screams that something is very, very wrong here. Please call immediately. This is not normal. There are many glaring red flags." The original poster added, "Just putting this on the top comment. I called. They're sending a wellness check." Now for the 3-day update. I posted my original post a few days ago, and a few people asked for an update out of concern for the kid. I called CPS shortly after posting that. They sent a well check over pretty quickly after what I described. A social worker was involved. She apparently was really good, knew the right questions to ask, and the kid admitted to her what had been happening. Unfortunately, I was correct, and she told the social worker it was her dad. Her mother knew. Her mother allowed it. They were arrested. The kid was taken in for a while, but now she is with us. My wife is completely upset and distraught that her sister was allowing that to happen to her own child and that the kid has been suffering for at least 6 months. My wife is not mad that I called. She is grateful. She admitted to being blind to the situation, and she is very upset with herself because of it. My wife can be a bit naive sometimes. She assumed the best in her sister. She is not a bad person. As for the kid, she is safe with us and doing okay. She always told my wife she wanted to live here, so she is happy for now. Just in the past few days, she has gotten a bit warmed up to me. I'm hoping she is going to be okay. She asked me to hold that stuffed cat yesterday, so that's something I think. We are working with a lot of professionals for her. Thanks for the response the first time around. Although I am sure we all hoped for an update that I was wrong, at least she is safe now. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, I just want to say to you that she asked you to hold her cat. Her precious, untouched, one and only stuffed cat. You have changed this little girl's life in the best way possible, and I think she knows that and is letting you know she knows somehow you and your wife saved her. You are heroes. Another commenter noted, the cat is probably an even bigger deal than you realize. Kids often use stuffed animals as self-surrogates to test their trust in an adult. She's watching to see how you treat her offering of trust. It is absolutely essential to treat that stuffy as precious. Someone else added, you did the right thing by calling CPS. It's heartbreaking the child had to endure that, but you likely saved her from further harm. You and your wife are providing a safe haven for her now, and that's commendable. I'm glad she's safe. I wish your niece and you and your wife healing and peace.